Suspend your disbelief, your rational, analytic mind, just for a minute, just for the length of this podcast. What if all I am about to tell you is the truth? What if the information you will be provided is from a divine source? Just for this time, I am your Axis Mundi. Consider this podcast your channel, your second opinion. When I do a reading, something larger than myself is working through me. So ask what you wish. This is your channel, your doorway to the divine. Welcome to John's Tarot. Welcome to you from wherever in the world you may be. Welcome to you from in the United States. Welcome to you from Nebraska.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Alabama.
You are talking to a man who has laughed in the face of death, sneered at doom, and chuckled at catastrophe.
California. What else we got here? Wisconsin.
Your choice is simple. Join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face obliteration.
Ontario, Canada.
He went and did a silly thing. Well, I'll tell you what he did. He ordered his planes to attack your country.
And Spain.
But if you threaten to extend your violence, this earth of yours will be reduced to a burned-out cinder.
Well, that sounds like some stuff we got going on in this country right now. Welcome to John's Tarot. I hope you all had a good week, and welcome to you. Today we're going to talk a little bit about meditation. But before I get there, though, do I have any old business? If you would like to be a guest on John's Tarot, go ahead and leave me a little, send me a note, leave me an email, and you can be a guest. Also, coming up on the 12th, I will be leaving town. Let's see, I'll be gone until I'll be gone the week of the 16th to the 22nd. I'll try to leave something up there, an old podcast up there on the 14th and the 21st, and it'll be up on YouTube, and I'll try to leave something up there. I won't be able to get it up. I don't know. I'll try see if I can get it up on on Podbeam and all my other things. But if you cannot get me, you'll be able to find it on YouTube for sure. And I'll have a delayed release, and I'll have a couple of podcasts up there. So that's what I'm going to do about that. We're going to go. We're going to go on a little time, as that great American Elmer Fudd would say, "West and relaxation at last." Although when I go on vacation, there's not much rest and relaxation. There's a lot of traveling and moving around. But we're going to go see another bit of the world. And I'll post some videos up there on YouTube, and you can see where my travels are. So this week, we're going to talk about meditation. And I have a guest, Will Badie. Will Badie, excuse me. He is a meditation teacher in the Philadelphia area. And I'll get on to him. Meditation is not really taught in our society. And in fact, some religions discourage any type of meditation. But and I have a little article I'll read on some of the benefits of meditation. We have a lot of information overload in this country. We're keeping up on the news. We got stress from work. We got stress with family. We got constant input from social media, and there's contacting you through the day on your phone. And you're driving 60 miles an hour down the freeway, worried about how you're going to make the payments on your car. I mean, who has time for meditation? I meditate almost daily. I'll probably meditate after the podcast today. And certainly as a recovering person, I found it a great deal of help. I looked up a quick article, and I'll read through the article just briefly. It's a real quick article on the benefits of meditation. One of the benefits of meditation is to reduce stress. Stress reduction is one of the most common reasons people try to meditate. Over time, physiological markers of stress, like increased cortisol, heart rate, can have wide-ranging impacts in everything from sleep to blood pressure. A 2017 review of 45 suggested various forms of meditation can help to decrease physiological markers of stress. Other research suggests that meditation may also improve symptoms of certain conditions that are impacted by stress, including, so it's going to improve your situation with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, post-traumatic stress disorder. I got some PTSD from the pandemic, fibromyalgia. Meditation helps control anxiety. Meditation can reduce stress levels, which translates to less anxiety. An older 2014 meta-analysis, including nearly 1,300 adults, found that meditation may decrease anxiety. Notably, this effect was strongest in those with highest levels of anxiety. Another study found that 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation helped reduce anxiety symptoms in people with generalized anxiety disorder, along with increased positive self-statements and improved stress reactivity and coping. We just talked about stress, and we talked about anxiety, reducing anxiety last week. Meditation may also help control job-related anxiety. One study found that employees who use mindfulness meditation app for 8 weeks experienced improved feelings of well-being and increased distress and job strain compared with those in a control group. Meditation supports emotional health. Some forms of meditation can improve self-image and a more positive outlook on life. For example, one of the treatments given to more than 3,500 adults found that mindfulness meditation improved symptoms of depression. We talked about that. We'll talk about that quite frequently here. A 2015 study found that people who completed a meditation exercise experienced fewer negative thoughts in response to viewing negative images than those in a control group. We just talked last night in one of my meetings about how to control negative thoughts. And apparently one way to control negative thoughts is through meditation. Enhance self-awareness. Some forms of meditation may help you develop a stronger understanding of yourself, helping you to grow into your best self. For example, self-inquiry meditation aims to help you develop a greater understanding of yourself and how to relate to those around you. Other forms teach you to recognize harmful or self-defeating thoughts. The idea is that as you gain greater awareness of your thought habits, you can steer them towards more constructive patterns. I notice when I'm meditating, thoughts run through my head. I got to do this, I got to do that, but I observe the thoughts. And most people don't observe their thoughts. They think their thoughts are them. So if you observe your thoughts, you're going to have a greater opportunity to impact the kind of stuff that's coming through there. In a 2019 study, 153 adults who used mindful meditation app for 2 weeks experienced reduced feelings of loneliness and an increased social contact compared with those in a control group. That's interesting. Meditation lengthens attention span. Focused attention meditation is like weightlifting for your attention span. It helps you increase your attention span, strength, and endurance. I'm just going to skip through a lot of this article. In meditation may reduce age-related memory loss. I ought to be in a constant state of meditation then. Improvements in attention and clarity of thinking may help keep your mind young. 7, meditation can generate kindness. We can definitely use that in our society. Some types of meditations may particularly increase positive feelings and actions towards yourself and others. I'm not going to read this whole article. It'll just go on too long. 8, meditation may help with addiction. There we go. That's something I'm involved with. 35 years of recovery, I find meditation to be very important. Meditation, mental discipline, you can develop through meditation, may help you break dependencies by increasing your self-control and awareness of triggers for addictive behaviors. Meditation will help improve sleep. In an older 2014 study, compared mindfulness-based meditation programs found that people who meditated stayed asleep longer and improved insomnia severity compared with those who had unmedicated control conditions. 10. Meditation helps control pain. Some researchers suggest that incorporating meditation into your routine could be beneficial for controlling pain. I could see where that would help. 11. Meditation can decrease blood pressure. Meditation may also improve physical health by reducing strain on the heart. Now, who doesn't want to live longer? High blood pressure contributes to atherosclerosis or narrowing of the arteries, which can lead to heart attack and stroke. So meditation can reduce that. 12. Accessible anywhere. People may practice different forms of meditation, most of which don't require specialized equipment or space. You can practice with just a few minutes daily. If you want to start meditating, try choosing a form of meditation based on what you want to get out of it. There are two major types of meditation. Focused attention meditation. This style concentrates attention on a single object or thought, sound, or visualization. It emphasizes ridding your mind of distractions. Meditation may focus on breathing, mantra, or calming sounds. I throw some tarot cards every day, and I throw the I Ching every day, and that's usually the focused meditation I'm involved with. Or you have open monitored meditation. This style encourages broadening awareness of all aspects of your environment. Train of thought and sense of self. So may include becoming aware of suppressed thoughts, feelings, or impulses. The bottom line, meditation is something everyone can do to improve their mental and emotional health without special equipment or costly memberships. That's definitely something the insurance company doesn't want you to engage in. They would rather put you on Xanax and things like that to control your stress and anxiety rather than a free method of meditation, which might cost you about 10 minutes in the morning. I get up every morning a little early, especially on my work days. I'll get up early so I have a period of time for prayer and meditation. And it seems to help. When I don't do it, I notice a difference. And all those benefits. And that was a simple article I just got off the internet right before the podcast. You can look up on articles on meditation. It's all over on the benefits of meditation. So I have a meditation teacher with us today, an interview on Will Badie, who's going to discuss meditation. Don't be thrown off by Will. He is a very thoughtful, well thought out guest. I was pleasantly surprised and impressed by his presentation. He just looks like an average guy, but when you listen to him, it's what he says that makes the difference. So let's move over to the interview with Will. Well, this week on JohnsTarot, I have Will Badie from, I believe he's in Philadelphia. Will he's written a book on meditation called You Are the God You Seek, and we'll make that available. And today we're going to talk to Will a little bit about meditation. Hi, Will. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling pretty good today. How about yourself?
Well, like I always say, every day above ground is a good day.
I feel you on that. Yeah.
I got some options from this position. Once you're underground, your options are limited.
Absolutely.
So Bill, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with meditation.
Well, sure. I got into meditation, I think, out of, I found myself in a place in life maybe a little less than a year ago. I was working at a place where I didn't really want to be at, and I was coming home and I was feeling drained, and I have 2 children and a wife, and I wanted to be more emotionally available for my family. So I had toyed around with meditation at other times in life, and I had figured out that it was too hard for me or whatever, or I had convinced myself of that. And I started trying to revisit that. And when I revisited it, this time I think I was in a place in life where I could really be receptive to it, and I could feel certain changes inside of me, and that led me to a place where I think sometimes you find yourself in a place where that little inner voice inside of you is screaming a little bit louder. And, it was telling me, hey, you need this job it's kind of sucking your energy. It's diverted you away from what you wanted to do with life. And I chose to leave that job, and I wasn't 100% sure what I was gonna do, and that was really hard to do with a family. But I had figured out that I had faith in myself, and meditating had it gave me a solid ground to stand on. So I ended up leaving this job, and while I was in the process of looking for another job, I had a little money saved up. So I started really appreciating what had been happening with my meditations, and I wanted to share it with people. So I was going to write an article, and I started writing an article, and then when I got like halfway into the article, I was like, well, why don't you just try to write a little book, a little ebook or something, just to share with people? Because I was really feeling like it was helping me to evolve into the person that I wanted to be. And I think with most people who I encounter, that seems to be the main issue. They are living lives that they don't necessarily want to live. And I just wanted to give people something that could point them in the direction of the more authentic version of themselves.
That's interesting. I went through a period in my life where I was having some realizations, and my question to myself was, am I the person I was born to be, or am I the person that I've been brought up to be? Am I just that mirror image of my parents, or is this my authentic self? And meditation has been helpful in that journey. Did you have any prior experience at meditation prior to this journey?
I had always encountered it because I've always been a student of esotericism and more Eastern philosophy. So I had always brushed up against it, listening to different yogis and reading things, and so I had wanted to do it earlier in life, and I had attempted it, and I was what they talk about, the monkey mind. My monkey mind was a little bit too crazy. It would jump around, and it would never let me get to a place where I could find enough peace to go into a meditative place. And so while I attempted it at times, it wasn't until rather recently in my life that I found myself in a place where I felt like I could actually do it. And I think it's interesting, because you find that, what sitting with yourself seems like such an easy task, but I've found that most people would rather get a limb cut off than to sit with themselves.
I find that when you talk about the monkey mind, when I'm sitting and involved with meditation, I'll have thoughts run through my mind. Oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. I got to do this, I got to do that. And for me, that's the monkey mind. But the deeper question is, I observe these thoughts going through my mind. The deeper question is, am I my thoughts, or am I the observer of my thoughts? As I observe these things going by, whizzing by me, that's probably closer to my authentic self.
I get that. That's kind of like being the watcher. So you're sitting back and you're watching your thoughts and attitudes, and It's kind of like who is it that is looking out of my eyes, so to speak? The one who sits back. And I definitely know what you mean. And I think with me, when I formed how there were meditations, but I think that meditation is a very wide open term. Some people, they meditate to try to dissolve their thoughts. My practice was more about guiding my thoughts to lead me into higher concepts about myself and about life and existence. Some days I wake up, I tell people, I said, sometimes I wake up and I feel like I've forgotten who I am overnight. I've forgotten my dreams and my aspirations, and how to live a better life. And I formed my meditation to try to climb up that ladder, and for me to come into contact with source. That's the main I think the main goal of my meditation, and just about every meditation that I've led, is just to bring a person into a higher state of awareness of who they are, and what is going on in this life.
How much time, if somebody was new to meditation, I personally, if I could get 10 minutes in the morning, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And then I'm off. Then I'm off doing my thing. I work as a nurse, and I'm off doing that. How much time out of a person's day do you think meditation should take?
I think that it's a gradual process. So, like you said, for somebody who's beginning, I would say, meditation is, we think about it as we think about it in, we're people from the West who think about meditation in Eastern terms. So we have this idea of this monk who's sitting in a temple on the top of a mountain, and he's reaching a meditative state of mind. But I think that when we can be mindful, even if I understand that, it's probably the most beneficial to be by yourself and away, but our lives are increasingly busy and fast. So what I would do is I just concentrate on just doing it when you can. Can you be mindful for a minute? Can you be mindful of yourself and your state of being and the realities of your life? Can you be mindful of these things for a minute? It doesn't really take a whole lot of time to become mindful. To maintain that mindfulness, that's a task, and I think that people build that over time. But if you're just starting out, I would concentrate more on just being mindful of your state of mind, your vibe, and how you see the world, and your outlooks and things. So if you're kind of scared off by meditation, mindfulness seems a little bit less aggressive, I suppose.
I certainly, in our society, certainly in my upbringing, I was never taught the importance of meditation. I encountered it. I practiced Buddhism many years ago, and there was a chanting, and there was a chanting involved with that, and I noticed I had a lot of problems when I was younger, drug and alcohol problems, and I'd be obsessed with something. I'd be chanting, and I found that would break those negative thoughts I was having. it would give me a chance to breathe. And then in
Yeah.
my own and then in my own recovery, I picked it up. I'm no longer a Buddhist. I'm more of an independent.
Yeah. I
And
get that. Yeah.
I find that it just centers me for the day. And again, these aren't things I learned in my upbringing, and these aren't things that are promoted in our society. What's promoted in our
No.
society is go out there, earn, and make money, and
Yeah.
materialism, and that's what's promoted.
I
Uh,
think most of. Sorry, go ahead, man.
no, please go ahead.
Well, all I was going to say was that I think those of us that many of us grow up, we grow up in the Christian tradition, and when you do that, things like meditation seem alien and foreign because even though meditation, the word meditation is appears many times in the Bible, uh, there's not the actual, the more Buddhist concepts, the more Eastern concepts of meditation. I think that there's sort of a reluctance to go in that direction because people, I think, within Christendom feel like that is somehow sacrilegious to reach outside, even though it's not really outside. Jesus said, let thine eye be single. That's to me, that sounds like meditation. It's so I think, for many of us in this culture, we we're not used to that concept of sitting with yourself while not. I think my daughter, she has a friend, and her friend's dad told her that meditation was for people who didn't know how to pray. And I said that's an interesting take. I think that you can be a person who prays and meditates, but meditation to me is more about finding your connection with the Creator, not necessarily sending your commands up to that Creator. We're trying to see that dwells within you. That's why I named the book "You Are the God You Seek." That was, I think, the main gist of my meditation discoveries.
In my in my little practice, my little 12-step practice, they say prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening for the answer.
Yes, yes.
So
Very much so.
we always want to talk, but we don't want to listen.
Yeah. When you get quiet, right? That's the point. That's when in my book I talk about the quad meditation, and quiet is the first step in that. It's an acronym for quiet, utterance, aim, and discipline. Quiet is the main thing, because when you start to get quiet, that's when I think that's the time where you come into the communion with source, and you strip away. It's like a stripping away of the drama of your life. The oh man, I got that bill due. Oh, I wonder if that person likes all of those things. Like you said, when we can observe those thoughts and let them sort of pass away on their own, and we can come into thoughts that serve us, and ultimately for me, I find that when I get quiet, that's when the thing, maybe it is just a delusion, but I feel as though that's when I'm in contact with the divine, and I'm listening. I'm not like you said, I'm not trying to talk. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to be receptive to what my highest ideals and my highest personality is saying to me.
Let's talk a little bit about your quad method. So Q is for quiet, U
Mhm.
is for utterance, A is for
Yes.
aim, D is for discipline. We talked about quad. We talked about Q. What about U for utterance?
Well, it's interesting because in the time that I wrote that back in like April, and of course, there are parts of it that are still very much the same, but certain things evolve. Utterance to me now is about a stimulation of the vocal cords. Um, I do some something I've been doing lately is just going through the different scales and feeling those vibrations. Um, Other times in my it's been I'd sing a song, you know so it's just about stimulating these vocal cords, which are far more powerful than I think uh we we kind of think about. We speak things into existence, and that power and being able. I've led a life where I've swallowed many words. I've I've been very quiet sometimes about things that I wanted to actually speak about. So stimulating that in myself has become very important on a daily basis, so that when I go out into the world, um, I I feel strong enough to say what's on my mind. Um, as far as the next letter, the A for aim. Um, Aim is more about what I just try to keep it simple. What is the goal for today, and can we map it out? Can we visualize it so that when we step into it throughout the day, it doesn't feel scary. It doesn't feel like, oh, like I'm not sure if I can do this. When I visualize it and I see the different components of what's going to happen, and of course, you can't, account for everything, but when you can see yourself walking into a successful day, I think that that's done wonders for my confidence, and for me um, branching out into areas that seem weird, or kind of like, I don't know if I can do this. Um, but that's been extremely helpful to me. And then the D for discipline. I usually like this. I started doing this meditation in the shower. So what I would do is, I'd be standing, so I would get into what they call horse stance, and that's it's very it's uncomfortable to sit in that stance. But while I sat in that stance, I would also try to hold a difficult thought, or to hold a thought in my head that I um, push away sometimes, because it seems a little bit it's taking too much bandwidth to think on it. um, so I with those four concepts, I I felt a change in myself. I felt like it was one of those moments where um you're like, I've been going my entire life with no real kind of reset for when I go and do that, or any variety of meditations now. But when I go and I can do that, it's an invaluable thing to be able to feel refreshed and renewed. And it's just, I wonder, why I went sometimes I wonder why I went so long without being able to have something like that in place. I think it's just an essential part of life now. It's, I'm trying to get my kids into it. Sometimes I get them too, but it's something that, I think mindfulness is something that should be talked about to all children.
I think it should be talked about to all children and taught in our society, especially in our, we're driving fast cars at 60 miles an hour, scanning the internet, and
Yeah.
and and worried about our job and worried about our life activities, and
Yeah.
and some of us are putting on makeup while they're driving, and they got all this stuff going on at once. Well, we need that period of time to, and we wonder why we have so much problems with anxiety, obsessive compulsive disease,
Yeah.
drug addiction, alcoholism. People are trying to turn it off.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you could just turn it off for 10 minutes a day, just 10 minutes a day, I think it'll make a huge difference.
Absolutely. If you can sort of, it's like I say, it's a reset. I think a lot of us, we get used to living the lives that we don't actually want to live. We get used to it. And then, people, there's this sort of attitude that says, just put your head down and get through it, and don't listen to, it's like they say, it's better to be safe than sorry. That's a lie. That's not really true. Because we have to take chances. Our lives are about taking chances. Our lives are about, when you were a baby and you took 2 steps and you fell, what if you would have just been, hey, I took 2 steps. I should just be safe. I should just be safe now. That's all I need to try, But that's not how you function then. And that's not really how you function now. Our lives are about this movement of, us going from one stage to the next. I think when you can reframe the way that you think about your life, I used, for much of my life, I defined my life by my failures and my mistakes. And over time, I just, thankfully, I was able to listen to all kinds of different spiritual teachers and entrepreneurs and things. And, they really drilled it into my head that, hey, your life is actually this series of failure and success. It's just what it is, so we all are going to fail. We're all going to make mistakes. But if you look at it from a certain angle, your life is this triumphant thing, because you can think we all, once you get into like your 20s, 30s and up, there's people who didn't make it as far as you. You could that there's people who, I grew up with a lot of friends who I can't even count how many friends I have that have been in and out of rehab. I can't even count that. But still, when I talk to them, some of them, and I'm sure you said, you've dealt with those things in your life. A lot of them, they think that their life is ruined, and they think, and I really, with them specific, I have a really there's a place in my heart, for people who struggle in that way, because the world wants to throw them away. And just to try to get it across to them, like, hey, you remember when we were 15 and you did that thing, and you were all proud. Like, if you're going to define yourself by how many times you've fallen down, you won't. Eventually, you forget the fact that you got back up. And I think that mindfulness and meditation, they lead you to those understandings, so that you can continue, to grow.
I had a friend of mine who used to say that failure is an integral part of all success. So all
Absolutely.
all successful people have failed. It's just part of the journey.
It's part of it. It's like there was one of my favorite, a guy who was very instrumental and still is, even though he's not even living anymore. Bob Proctor. I sometimes you listen to certain people and they say things in ways that you're like, this guy speaks my language. Like, I everything he says, it translates. Like, I can really understand it. And one of my favorite things that he said, he had talked to an astronaut. The astronaut told him that, when a rocket's going to the moon, or when you launch a rocket, it fails its way all the way to its destination. It's constantly failing and correcting course. And when I apply that to my life, that makes it a lot easier to deal with the times that I failed, because it lets me know that I only failed to learn and to correct.
Interesting. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it was interesting.
So, do you consider yourself a yoga teacher? Do you take students?
I'd consider myself a meditation teacher. I do teach classes.
Not yoga. My mistake.
No, it's okay. It's all right. I'm usually, it's in a yoga studio. I haven't done yoga in years. That's something my daughter was like, Dad, you're real inflexible. You need to start going. I said, yeah, I need to get back into yoga. But no, I consider myself a meditation teacher now. And there was a time where, I couldn't say that with a straight face. I did get a meditation teaching certification, and then I teach meditation at a place called Solstice Yoga Shala in a town not too far from here. And I'm in the process of bringing that online so that I can, try to guide people through meditations in an online space. But yeah, it feels good to be able to say, yes, I am a meditation teacher. I do lead classes, and I'm in different communications with different yoga studios now. So it's exciting.
Would you be would it be okay if people contacted you? Do you have a contact email?
Absolutely. My regular email is fine, but
I'll leave
still,
it there for us.
Absolutely. I'm in the process of making the website, and I'm probably fooling around with it too much and just not putting it out. But I would definitely love to talk to anyone who would feel like they'd like me to guide them through. And every time, like I said, I'm grateful for every time that anybody asks me to lead a meditation, because it's a very vulnerable thing to let somebody into your mind and your psyche. And I don't take that lightly. I understand that it is significant, and there's nothing more. I love nothing more than to see somebody grow from one stage to the next. That's what I love.
Okay. And Will's going to leave me with a link where you can download his PDF. It's not that big of a file. It's a quick read, and I enjoyed it. It's definitely worthwhile.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you. I
Will,
appreciate
thank you so much for being a guest on John's Tarot this week. Let's stay in touch, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, Will. Have a great day. Well, that was my interview with Will Badie. I will put up his contact email, and I will put up a place where you can access his book. And it's an ebook. It's a quick read. And I thought I would talk today. Now, we talked a little bit about meditation, and I'm going to use the electronic deck today. And I'm going to go ahead and ask the tarot, because I'm already running overtime on this. I'm going to go ahead and ask the tarot. Let's shuffle. How can I say this? What are some simple benefits? How can we fit meditation into our lives? My ability to read tarot is a gift, an expression of divine love, and I'm here to share it with you in that same spirit. So, three cards. What are some of the benefits of meditation? And how can we fit that into our lives? What are some of the benefits of meditation? How can we fit that into our lives? Last week I used a regular deck. This week I'm going, the Magician. This week I am going to use the electronic deck. And the second card, the Knight of Swords. And then the third card, benefits of meditation. I like that. The Six of Wands. And let me pick up some runes and throw some runes on this too. There we go. Move my camera over a little bit. If somebody would like a free reading, this is the time to request free readings. What are some of the benefits of meditation, and how can we fit that into our lives? The Magician. And my first rune is Ingaz. My second rune, the Knight of Swords. Gotta stay closer to this microphone. This rune is Jira. And my third rune for the Six of, the Six of Wands. So what do I got? Radio. That's not too hard of a reading at all. So, benefits of meditation, that's us. We're the Magician. And you see him, he has one hand in the air with a scroll, another hand pointed to the ground. That is for as above, so below. And has the infinity symbol over his head. And then on the table in front of him, he has a wand, a cup, a pentacle, and a sword. So that is us. We have all the tools we need. The cup, the pentacle, the wand, and the sword laying in front of us. If we choose to take them up, we have all the tools and become successful in our lives. So we have all the tools we need. We are the Magician. We are going to create something out of the ether of our lives. And the rune is called Jira, and that has to do with completion of the beginning. Exit from the chrysalis. So once you take up meditation, you are going to come out of the cocoon of your life, because you're going to take charge of your life. You're going to, that'll be the completion of the beginning. How do I have that? The completion of the beginning. And and then as you come out of the chrysalis, then you become a butterfly, right? So you're going to mature, come out of the cocoon, the safe little place where you've always been, but you have the tools in order to do it. As you start out on this journey, the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords, he's a guy with a high energy, and he's moving forward. It'll be the beginning of a new and energetic period of your life, a new journey of discovery, a new journey on your life. But remember, you're going to be just beginning. The rune is Jira. That's a seed. So you've just planted the seed, and you're moving forward, and it's going to take some germination. It's going to take some effort. You're going to have to, water the seed, practice at it a little bit every day. I also like this thing about the Knight of Swords. It has to do with some people are incapable of learning their shortcomings. And as you take on the practice of meditation, you're going to run into these people. You're going to run into people who are incapable of understanding their shortcomings. I even run into it with doctors, and they think they have no shortcomings. They're human beings too. I respect them all, and they're all good people. But some people are unable, and I have shortcomings, and I understand them, and I find them in meditation, and I find ways to deal with it. And then what can you expect as a result of practicing meditation? The Six of Wands has to do with triumph, has to do with success. And you'll find triumph and success in your life and overcoming your shortcomings, and taking a deeper look at your life and seeding this process. And the R, this rune, radio, has to do with travel, has to do with being on the right path, has to do with a journey. That's kind of interesting to see that Six of Wands, a guy on a horse with a wand. He's a journeying, and he's on the right path, radio, and this is the right path for human beings to take. And this is what the tarot has to say about meditation. Well, for this week, I want to say, where am I at? Here we go.
Goodbye, Professor Marvel, and thanks a lot.
Well, it was my pleasure. If I'll post something next week. If you would like to be interviewed for JohnsTarot, please contact me, and we'll record it. I record my interviews, and we'll put them up later. But I do have some interviews for that period of time where I'll be gone. So be careful, be cool, and be kind. Remember, find faith, have courage, and I'll see you all next week. All right, have a great week, everybody. All right, bye-bye.